So the last concept we're going to do in our number sense unit is absolute value. And for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to define it as the distance that a number is away from zero. It's actually a little more complicated than that, but for right now, that's an appropriate definition for us to be using. So what does that mean? If I asked you how far -3 was away from zero, what would your answer be? Did you say 3? So the way we write absolute value is just two straight lines, a little bigger than a 1. So the absolute value of -3 is equal to 3. How about the absolute value of +3? How far away is 3 from 0? It's also 3. So can absolute value ever be negative? No, because distance isn't a negative concept. It's not that. You can't have something be negative spaces away from something else. So we know that it's always going to be a positive number. Always. All right. So now that we know that, when we do order of operations, they're sort of like parentheses. They're just a grouping symbol. So we're going to do what's inside the absolute value first, do the computation, and then take the absolute value. So go ahead and in your minds do -5 plus 2. If you need a number line to help you, draw that out on the paper. And you get absolute value of -3. And now you take the absolute value, which is, we just talked about, +3. So try the next one. Do the computation first before you take the absolute value. Hopefully you got a +6 inside the absolute value. And what is the absolute value of 6? 6. So now we're going to go back to where we put some variables into the question. If you know that x is 4, then what's the absolute value of x? Basically, that's just saying take the number 4 and replace the x with it. So what's the absolute value of 4 equal to? Hopefully you said 4. And our last page is the trickiest one of all. Can you think of two numbers that have an absolute value of 20? So if I had my number line, can you think of two numbers that are 20 spots away from 0? I'm going to give you a minute of think time. Hopefully some of you got that this one over here was 20. That was one of my answers. And then what's the one all the way down here? I wish I could actually hear you answer. -20. So the way I like to write that is a really cool symbol, plus or minus 20. It's a cool symbol. And then what about this tricky one over here? What number would give you an answer of -20 for its absolute value? Hopefully a little light bulb flashed and you were like, nothing, because we know absolute value can never be negative. So we write NRS, or no real solution. Hopefully that made sense. If you need to watch it a second time, go for it. If not, go ahead and start your homework.